Lockdown, Chapter 23, page 152. Where's your beard, man? What beard? In the movies, when a guy gets out of the hole, he comes stumbling out and he's got a beard and everything, Play said. You're supposed to be squinting and staggering around. It was kind of hard, I said. It was hard out here, too, Play said. Since they had you in detention, we were getting steak every day to see how we liked it. Steak with mashed potatoes and gravy. Man, you know how boring that gets. Get out of here, Play, I said. You guys weren't getting no steak. If they gave you steak, you wouldn't leave when your date came up. You'd be hanging around for the eats. I decided what I'm going to do when I get out of here, Play said. What? I'm going to be a rich white dude, he said. Then I won't have to do nothing but sit around and worry about people like you coming into my neighborhood. Yeah, well, I decided what I'm going to do too, I said. I'm going to look around for a rich white dude like you and take his stuff. It was good talking to Play again. It was good just talking. I could see guys going crazy being locked up for years like they did in the max prisons where you were on lockdown 23 hours a day. In a way, I didn't seem to be alive when I was in detention. Being alive wasn't just about breathing and whatnot. It was like you could look around and somebody else would notice that you were alive. Talking helped a lot, because when somebody answered, it meant they heard you. Even if somebody was yelling at you, it was better than silence. I knew if I was in lockdown long enough, I would probably talk to myself. On my first day back from detention, I sat with Play at breakfast and listened to him complain about the eggs. I wanted to say something about the eggs being different when you ate them in the dining room, but I couldn't find the words that made it sound right. Eggs are eggs, and they shouldn't taste different if you ate them in one room or the other. But they did. King Kong looked over at me from the corner of the room, and it made me laugh because he was still trying to look hard, even though I had put him down good. I didn't say nothing in school, even though I wanted to. When we left class for lunch, King Kong came real near me and brushed me a little. I gave him a look and he stopped and turned toward me, and Mr. Pugh came over and pushed us both against the wall. Cool it, girls! I knew Play was in because he cut a dude on Clinton Avenue in Brooklyn. King Kong wasn't keeping his square ass together after a beatdown, and I was wondering if I would have to shank him to get him off my case. Yo, Play, how it feel to cut a guy? I asked. I don't know, he said. I was just swinging and it happened. I won the blade playing horse. I hit 5 shots in a row and I got the guy's blade, which wasn't no big deal because he had a whole trunk full of them. My first afternoon out of detention was cool. Group was canceled because Miss Dotson's car had broken down on the highway and she couldn't make it. We went right to recreation and personal hygiene, and I checked myself out for a beard. Nothing. Toon came over and sat with me in the rec room. He handed me a book. It's a gift, he said, from me to you. The book was Lord of the Flies. You don't have to give me a gift, I said. Toon shrugged and looked down at the floor. It's because in my heart we are brothers, he said. I had a brother. In our family he was the hero. My father said his name should have been Rama, but he wanted him to have an American name, so we called him Raymond. When my brother Raymond was alive, he was the center of my family. He was smart and tall and looked very handsome. When he became sick and died, my family was very hurt. They took ashes to India and scattered them in a river near where our family had lived before my grandfather came to America. I was very excited to go to India for the first time, But my father was mad at me for thinking about what I would see there instead of mourning for my brother. After that, he hardly ever spoke to me. What was India like? I asked. Like the Bronx, but with more animals and older buses, Toon said. Your brother got shot? No, he had a cough and his chest hurt, but my father said it was nothing. Even when he coughed a lot, my father said it was just making him stronger. Then he had to go to the hospital, and after 2 days he died. I'm sorry about that, I said. But you don't have to give me your book. You don't want to be my brother? Toon said, but in my heart, you are. Okay, you're my brother too, I said. Toon smiled and then went back over to where he had been sitting. Toon was okay. He wasn't like a real brother. He wasn't like a real friend like K-Man or even Play. He was little and weak and goofy looking, the kind of kid anybody could mess with. In a way, I wanted him to be okay all the time, but in another way, I felt bad about him, as if it was something bad about him that made him weak. Even though I could get busy with my hands and could deal if I had to, there was also something in me that could be hurt like Toon. Not hurt, maybe. Not even bruised or nothing. Just fucked with. I took the book back to my room from after rec time. I didn't know if I was going to read it or not. Sometimes, when things get stupid, I just shut it all out, like start all over again. So when I woke up in the morning in my own room, I was feeling good and thinking good stuff. Usually when I woke up, it was 5:30 or 6:45 or 5:45 before the rooms were unlocked, which was exactly 6. I must be tired because I woke up just as the bell rang and I got up real quick, cleaned the room for inspection, and got dressed. Mr. Pugh took us to breakfast, and Diego asked him what we were having. Eggs, sausages, hash browns, and juice, he said. Real eggs today, not that crap that comes in a box. They're buying them from local merchants now, so we blend in with the community. We could go out and rob a local bank, Play said, and then spend it on some local girls. Shut up, Mr. Pugh said. He was smiling. Mr. Pugh was right. We did have real eggs instead of those scrambled eggs. How do you want your eggs? The fat round cook asked me. Griffin could make the eggs either hard or almost hard. He wouldn't make them over easy no matter what you said. Poached, I said, with some caviar on the side. He broke 2 eggs and dropped them on the grill, and as I watched as they got done on one side before he flipped them and cooked them hard on the other. No big deal. Toon sat by himself 2 tables down from me and Play, and I was wondering if I should ask him to come over to where we were sitting when Mr. Wilson entered. He looked around and called me over. Anderson, let's go, he said. Where am I going? Get your ass out of your seat, he said, and let's go. I didn't like Mr. Wilson's tone and figured something was going on. When he took me out of the hallway, King Kong pointed at me and started laughing. I figured that ugly sucker must have told some lies on me. We got to the administrative wing and he unlocked the doors and my heart went cold. Yo, man, they sending me upstate? Mr. Wilson was a cool guy, but he didn't answer me, and I figured I was gone. Nobody had said anything about me going upstate, but I knew I had had 2 fights. I thought about Kobo, the guy I had fought when he first came to Progress. They had sent him upstate, but he was headed there in the first place. You need to pee? Mr. Wilson asked me. We were standing in the front of the bathroom. I went in but couldn't pee. I felt like I had to, but I was too uptight, so I came out. Wash your damned hands, Mr. Wilson said. I went back in and washed my hands. When I returned, Mr. Wilson took his cuffs and made a spinning motion with his index finger. No matter how bad you feel when you're locked up, You'll feel worse when you get cuffed. It's like you ain't human or something. Some kind of thing that just needs to be restrained. Mr. Wilson took me to the office and signed me out. The clerk, a little fat lady, was looking at me and I felt naked. I can't take none of my stuff with me, I asked.